Hello friends, good morning. My name is Akash Sanjay. I am a coordinator at Karunyakara Institute of Dalit Knowledge and PhD scholar at Delhi University. Karunyakara Institute of Dalit Knowledge is founded by Professor Dr. Leela Karunyakara sir, and his idea behind this institution to provide an academic space for professors, doctors and social scientists who are engaged in the field of Dalit studies. Today, Karunyakara Institute of Dalit Knowledge going to have its 61st lecture. This lecture is a part of a series that we started on the occasion of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Jayanti, 14th of April 2025. Today, Professor Dr. Leela Karunyakara sir going to chair and deliver the lecture. So, before start the session, I request Dr. Smita Bhagat to please welcome and introduce Professor Dr. Leela Karunyakara sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, Akash. Happy Independence Day to all of you. It's my great privilege and honor to introduce our distinguished speaker, Professor Dr. Leela Karunyakara. Professor Dr. Leela Karunyakara is an eminent academician, former Vice Chancellor, and the founder of the Karunyakara Institute of Dalit Knowledge. He is one of India's leading voices in Dalit studies, Ambedkarite thought, and Buddhist studies. He earned his PhD from Jawaharlal Nehru University, JNU, New Delhi, and began his academic career as an assistant professor in the School of Ambedkar Studies at Babasaheb Bhimrao Ambedkar University, BBAU, Lucknow. There, he pioneered the introduction of the Dalit history course in MA History program and played a vital role in implementing 50% reservation for SC/ST students in university admissions. Professor Karunyakara founded the Ambedkar University Dalit Students Union in 2000 and the Babasaheb Bhimrao Ambedkar Central University SC/ST Teachers Association in 2006, strengthening the voice of marginalized community in higher education. Later, he served as director cum professor at the Babasaheb Ambedkar Sidhu Kanu Murmu Dalit and Tribal Studies Center at Mahatma Gandhi Antarrashtriya Hindi Vishwavidyalaya, Wardha. He also held the prestigious position of Dean School of Culture and eventually as the Vice Chancellor of the university. Professor Dr. Karunyakara is the acclaimed author of History of Dalit Identity and Modernization of Buddhism, two important works that have enriched scholarship on Dalit history, identity, and social transformation. His lifelong dedication to research, teaching, institution building, and the ideas of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar continues to inspire scholars, students, and society across the country. So, this is the brief introduction of today's chair and honorable speaker. So, I am extending a warm and heartfelt welcome to Professor Dr. Leela Karunyakara, sir. Please welcome, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Smita. Today, Professor Dr. Leela Karunyakara sir going to deliver his lecture on Annihilation of Caste and is section 22nd. So I request Professor Dr. Leela Karunyakara sir to please deliver his lecture.
Shalom, Jai Bhim. Good morning to everyone. Today is 15th August 2026. This is Independence Day of India. Wish you all happy Independence Day. We are all enjoying the fruits of independence and the benefits of the Constitution of India written by the great thinker of India, Dr. Babasaheb Bhimrao Ambedkar. My dear friends, we are conducting series of Dalit knowledge lecture series for past, I think, about 2 years, starting with the Ambedkar Jayanti. In 2024, 24 or 25?
25.
25. 14th April 2025 we started. So it's more than a year. And we have invited eminent professors, academics from highly reputed educational institutions like Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi, Delhi University, Indira Gandhi National Open University, Hyderabad Central University, and many more, many more. As far as my lectures are concerned, as a part of Dalit Knowledge Lecture Series, as you know very well that I am focusing on the discussion on Ambedkar's original texts. So many texts we have discussed as a part of Dalit Knowledge series conducted by the Karunyakara Institute of Dalit Knowledge. Among them, the text which we are conducting, which I am discussing, is that Annihilation of Caste. That's the fifth text of Ambedkar I am dealing with. This Annihilation of Caste consists of total 26 chapters or 26 sections, you could say. So today is the 22nd section. As you know very well, as I said earlier, Ambedkar touched upon different themes in each section that related to Annihilation of Caste broadly. He picked up different themes, different subjects, different topics on which Ambedkar talked, expressed his views, his opinions, and his position in relation to the annihilation of caste. Now, very interestingly, section 22, Ambedkar very categorically states that it is a very, very difficult, it's impossible to annihilate the caste. We are all with the impression that one day we can annihilate the caste. But Ambedkar says that in this section, very categorically he states that it is highly impossible to annihilate the caste. Let me read out what Ambedkar said exactly. You will get, I'm quoting Ambedkar, you will get an idea why I think that breaking up of caste amongst the Hindus is well nigh impossible. At any rate, it would take ages before a breach is made. It's highly impossible to annihilate the caste. Even if you want to annihilate the caste, it takes ages. We don't know how many ages. Ambedkar was asking the communists, you people talk about revolution. Tell me how many years it takes for the bringing a communist revolution in the world. 20 years? 40 years? 100 years? 200 years? So Ambedkar says that they don't have, because they are not sure to bring the communist revolution in the world. And it's highly impossible. Because human nature is craving for the freedom. And communist revolution is against the freedom. Man can die with hungry, but he wants freedom. That's why Ambedkar concluded that communists don't know when the communist revolution is going to come. Same way, now Ambedkar says that as far as annihilation of caste, for as far as India is concerned, annihilation of caste is another revolution. It's a big revolution. It's a social revolution. Communist revolution is the economic revolution, but annihilation of caste is a social revolution. And Ambedkar says that at least Ambedkar asked the communists how many years it takes for the revolution. So communist revolution, 20 years, 40 years, 100 years, or 200 years. But in the case of annihilation of caste, Ambedkar says that is highly impossible. It's highly impossible. It takes ages. Nobody knows. Does it mean that what we are talking, sitting and talking every day, we are dreaming that caste should go away? It's not going to go away. No, it's not possible. But Buddha says that whatever takes birth, it has to die. Anything that born has to die sometime. The why caste is surviving for centuries, for ages. And Ambedkar says that it takes, even if you want to annihilate caste, it takes ages. Nobody knows how many ages. And it's highly impossible. In the book Annihilation of Caste, section 22, Ambedkar was very categorically states that it's a highly impossible to annihilate the caste. Look at the reality. We are all happy with our caste identities. And we marry within the caste only. Even we love, we fall in love only within the caste only. Even if you want to fall in love, you ensure that your girlfriend is higher to your caste. People say that love is a feeling. But very interestingly, in India, feeling doesn't come. If you want to love a girl or a boy who is regarded so-called your lower caste, we all marry in our own caste. We love in our own caste. Love also happen. So-called love. Why it is so? Mostly love happens because of the meeting points. Generally, we meet girls and boys. The more and more meeting points we get, the social meeting points we get only within our community. That is the reason we fall in love with our own girls and boys. I'm talking about caste. See, my preference is that you should not marry outside the Dalit race. This is not a strict rule I'm propagating. If you want, you can marry. You can marry anybody. You can marry even non-Dalits also. But to strengthen the Dalit race, you should marry within the Dalit race. But to destroy the caste, to annihilate the caste within the Dalit race, you should marry out of the caste. Dalit is, first thing you remember, Dalit is not a caste. Brahmin is not a caste. As long as you think that Dalit is a caste, Brahmin is a caste, Shudra is a caste, then you are mistaken. You are misguided. Your conclusion will be misleading. Dalit, Adivasi, Shudra. Shudra is a Dravidian. Shudra, Aryan. These are all races. Within Aryan, you have three races: Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya. These are all races. These are all not caste. Even before caste was born, Brahmin identity was there. Then how do you say that Brahmin is a caste? Even before caste system was born in India, identity of Brahmin was there. Kshatriya was there. Vaishya was there. Shudra was there. These are all not caste identities. They are races. Like a Dalit. Dalit is a race. Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya are in races. Shudra is a Dravidian race. Dalit is a Semitic race. Adivasi is a African race. So within our race, within the Dalit race, there are many castes. Because of the caste system, Dalits not invented. Ambedkar very clearly states that it is the Brahmin who invented caste. Brahmin is the founder of caste. Ambedkar very clearly he states, very categorically, where he says he never stated in the Annihilation of Caste. He didn't state in the Annihilation of Caste. He stated in the Castes in India, Genesis, Mechanism and Development. It was a paper published in the Anthropology Journal, in which Ambedkar clearly states that Brahmins who invented the caste. So, my dear friends, Dalits not invented caste. Then why Dalits are so much loving caste? Anyhow, that's an entirely different issue. I'll talk some other time. As far as restricting myself today's lecture to the section 22, Ambedkar was very clear to state that why he is of the opinion that caste cannot be annihilated, and it's impossible to annihilate the caste. Even if you want to annihilate the caste, it takes ages and ages. Why Ambedkar got this opinion? Ambedkar got this opinion because caste is basically to do with the Hindu society. And Ambedkar says that Brahmin race is natural leader of the Hindu society. Brahmin race is natural leader of Hindu society. And Brahmin, why Brahmin is a natural leader of Hindu society? Why Ambedkar says that Brahmin is a natural leader of Hindu society? It is because Brahmin is intellectual class of Hindu society. Whoever is the intellectual class is the natural leader of Hindu society. For any society, even in Europe, American society, European society, African society, any society, it is the intellectual class that is the natural leader, not leader, natural leader. Natural leader means by being intellectual, the intellectual become natural leader. You no need to elect. He's not a political leader. You have to elect the political leader. For any society, natural leader is an intellectual class. Brahmin race, by being intellectual class, Brahmin is a natural leader of Hindu society. Since Brahmin himself written, Brahmin has written Shastras, Brahmin wrote Vedas, Smriti, all Vedas are called Shruti. Then comes Smriti. Smriti means Manusmriti, Narada Smriti, Yajnavalkya Smriti, these are Smritis. So Brahmin never going to fight against the Shastras written by himself for his own glory. Take any Shastra, Brahmin is glorified. Who will glorify? Brahmin glorify himself. It's not that somebody else glorifying, but Brahmin glorified through book, through written. Earlier it was only vocal, oral, composed slokas, but later on it was written. So today we'll find written books, Veda, Shruti, all Vedas are Shruti. Then there are Smriti. If there is a conflict between Shruti and Smriti, what do you have to? No, if there is a conflict between two Shruti, Ambedkar says, if there is a conflict between two Shruti, if Rigveda says something, Yajurveda says something, Atharvaveda says something, then what you do? Then Hindu Shastras say that you must follow any one of the Shruti. Yeah, either you follow Rigveda, or you follow Yajurveda, or you follow Atharvaveda, or Samveda, any Veda. If there is a conflict, you should not apply reason. You should not apply morality. Hindus are instructed by the Shastras that they should not apply reason or morality to understand Brahminical thought, the Brahminism. These are all books of Brahminism. Who wrote Vedas? Brahmin wrote. Who wrote Smriti? Manusmriti or any Smriti? Brahmin wrote. So Shruti written by Brahmin, Smriti written by Brahmin. These two are core Shastras of Brahmin religion. And Brahmin himself wrote for his own glory, for his own hegemony over the society. If there is a conflict between two Shruti, Veda and one Veda, between one Veda and another Veda, then the Shastra says that Hindu should not question anything written in the Shastras by applying the reason or morality also. See, if you want to bring a social reform, social revolution in a society, what should be your tools or weapons? What should be your tools to bring social reform? For any social reformer to bring a social revolution in the society, what should be tools? Tools should be, there must be two important tools. These two, one is reason, another one is morality. If you apply reason, if you apply morality, then you can come to a proper conclusion. But if you don't apply reason, you don't apply morality, then what will happen? There is no difference between a man and animal. And man believes whatever he is said to believe. He never questions. So if there is a conflict between two Shruti, between two Vedas, what a Hindu should do, he should follow any of the Veda. If you don't like Rig Veda, follow the other Veda. If you don't like other Veda, follow the Sam Veda. But you should follow the Veda. You should not question. If there is a conflict between Shruti and Smriti, Smriti means Manusmriti, Narada Smriti, Yajnavalkya Smriti. There are many Smritis. If there is a conflict between Shruti and Smriti, means if there is a conflict between Rigveda and Manusmriti, what you should follow as a Hindu? A Hindu should follow Veda, not a Smriti. Veda, Shruti is always higher than the Smriti. So if there is a conflict between Rigveda and Manusmriti, Rigveda should be followed, not the Manusmriti. You are getting my point? If there is a conflict between the Smriti, Manusmriti and Narada Smriti, Manusmriti and Yajnavalkya Smriti, between the Smriti, then which Smriti you should follow, being a Hindu? You should follow, being a Hindu, only Manusmriti. So among the Smritis, the topmost superior Smriti is Manusmriti. So if there is a conflict between Manusmriti and any other Smriti, a Hindu should follow only Manusmriti. If there is a conflict between Vedas and Smritis, then Hindu should follow the Veda. If there is a conflict between all these Shastras, Shruti, Smriti, all these Shastras, Rigveda, Manusmriti, Purana, all these Shastras, if there is a conflict between Hindu Shastras, any other idea not expressed in the Shastras, if there is any other idea. So for example, all are equal. All are equal. All men are equal. All humans are equal. That's a foreign idea to all these Shastras. Nowhere in the Shastra it is said that all men are born equal. No. Shastra says that God created Brahmin as a superior. So Shastras never say that all are equal. So this is a foreign idea. Foreign idea means foreign to the Brahminism. But Buddha said all are equal. Though Buddha, the Lord Buddha didn't say that God created all humans equal. But Buddha said all are equal. Socially, all are equal. So this is a foreign idea to the Brahminism. So in that context, what Hindu has to do? Hindu should not question any idea is written in the Shrutis and Smritis. Hindu should follow blindly, andhabhakt. You should become a blind follower of Shastras. This is what Ambedkar is writing. Whatever I said right now, it's not my views. It's Ambedkar views expressed by the Ambedkar in the section 22 of the Annihilation of Caste. Given this background, in this background, Ambedkar says that generally human society, ordinary humans, average humans, those who are busy with their day-to-day life, they don't have intellectual capacity to think. So majority people in the society, they believe whatever is said to them. If you tell them that no, Brahmin is superior, they believe it, because you are telling the same thing thousands and thousands of times over the period of thousands of years. So they believe it. People believe it. So in society, majority people don't bother what is the right, what is the wrong. They don't bother what should be believed, what should not be believed. So majority people have average mentality. It doesn't matter. You think that scientific temper. Generally, this I have seen many Dalits speaking. No, we should have a scientific education. Only scientific temper will destroy the wrong social beliefs. That's what many Dalits believe. But that's wrong. Go to science departments. You will find the highest races, castes, you will find among the science students. Go to any university. Most of the right-wing students are science students. You will find some liberal democratic students in the social sciences, in the sociology, political science, economics. You will find many liberal students who believe in the democratic values. But go to the science department, you will find the majority of the science students are right-wing students. They believe strongly in the superstitions. A scientist who believe in, he knows that sun is a planet, sun is a star. A scientist who believes that sun is a Hindu scientist, a Brahmin scientist knows that. He knows sun is a star. Still he worships the sun. Surya Vandan. It's called Surya Vandanam. Early morning, they take the water and pour the water to the down. Many Brahmins who are science students, they do that. Why? Because in their Shastras it is written that, who wrote Shastras? Their forefathers. It is written that Surya Vandan, the Surya Vandanam, means Namaskar to the Surya, should be done by every Brahmin every day in the morning. So he is a science. He got a PhD from the physics. Or he got a PhD from the natural sciences. Or he got a PhD from the astronomy. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Throughout life he does Surya Vandanam. So don't think that just because of scientific education, the society will become socially very liberal. No, it's a very wrong view. It's a very wrong view. Society, any idea, social idea, if any social idea should be defeated or annihilated, you need to have another social idea, not the scientific idea. If Brahmin Shastra says that Brahmin is a superior, science says that all people born from the animal. Even then, a student who studied in science never go against his Shastra. He always says that no, Brahmin is superior. Forget about the Brahmin. Even the Shudra, the majority of Shudras are OBC, other backward castes in India. The majority of Shudras. I have seen many Shudras. They themselves believe that Brahmin is a superior. Science students, backward caste science students, the Shudra students who did their PhD in sciences, they also believe that Brahmin is Shudra. Though he is not a Brahmin. Of course, Brahmin is believing that Brahmin is a superior, because he's profiting it, he's gaining out of it. But Shudra, Brahmin Shastra says Shudra is the inferior. Even then, a Shudra boy, a Shudra man who got a PhD from the sciences, he believes that Brahmin is a superior. Now you tell me, he is a PhD guy, a Shudra. He should suppose fight against the Brahminism, but he accepts that he is a lower and Brahmin is a superior. Why? Why? Because science is not going to fight against the social ideas. Science can fight only scientific ideas. A scientific idea can fight only scientific idea. So, for example, once upon a time, people used to think that Earth was a flat. It was a scientific idea. Earth was a flat. Earth was understood as a flat. But later on, science fought against the scientific idea of the older generation that Earth is not a flat. Earth is round. So scientific idea can fight against another scientific idea. Earlier it was said that Earth was not a magnetic field. Why things are falling from the sky, from the air? Why the things, when you throw anything into the air, it comes back to the earth? Why? People were not having the answer. People are having different stories. But nobody knows that earth is a magnetic field. So a scientific idea fought against another scientific idea of earlier generations. So Newton observed that apple was falling from the tree. Then he researched why apple fell on tree. Why things are falling from the why things which are thrown into the air come back to the earth? Why? Fall on the ground. Why? So he researched and finally concluded that earth is a magnetic field. That is the reason when you jump, you have to come down. You have to fall on the earth. Then it is invented that aeroplane, it has to have a force which goes against the magnetic force. So aeroplane is invented. So it can go up. So that it can't fall. Look at the bird. Bird will not fall. Why? So these are all the scientific things. These are all not the social things. So if you want to fight against a social idea, that is called Brahmin is a superior, Shudra is a inferior, Dalit is untouchable. These are all social ideas. You have to create forceful, strong, another social ideas to fight against them. If those social ideas are supported by any religion, then you have to create a social ideas. It also should be supported by another religion. Okay. Now coming back to the lecture, what I'm trying to say that why Ambedkar said it is a highly impossible to annihilate the caste. That is the most important thing. Generally not discussed by intellectuals. Generally intellectuals think that annihilation of caste, Ambedkar said we can annihilate the caste. But practically speaking, everybody will follow caste. Those people who are fighting against caste, they marry their own caste people. They love their own caste people. And they want to fight against the caste also. How it possible? See the hypocrisy. The biggest enemy of the society is hypocrisy. It is the hypocrisy. Because of the hypocrisy, because of the hypocrites, you can't destroy any negative idea. Because those speak about positive idea, they are hypocrites. How? They say something they don't follow in practical life. For example, almost all Ambedkarites, all Dalits, they want to fight against caste, but they love their own caste. They want to annihilate the caste, but they marry their own caste girl or boy. It's a hypocrisy. With the hypocrisy, you can't even become proper human being. How can you change a society? So Ambedkar said, Brahmins, whether it's a secular Brahmin or Sanatan Brahmin, there is no difference. By being an intellectual class, they are the natural leaders of Hindu society. Since the natural leaders supposed to fight against the caste, but they are not going to fight because their Shastras said not to question anything written in the Shastras by applying reason or morality. Without applying the reason and morality, you cannot bring a social reform or social transformation. So Brahmin believes that he should not apply reason or rationality, reason and morality to question his Vedas, his Shastras, his Smriti, Manusmriti, all these things. So Ambedkar said that it is highly impossible to bring annihilation of caste within the Hindu society, because Brahmins are the natural leaders, because Brahmins are the intellectual class. That is why Ambedkar very clearly said that I have an idea. You will get an idea why I think that breaking up of caste amongst the Hindus is highly impossible. At any rate, it would take ages before a breach is made. Even if you breach into the caste, even into something you want to break the caste, literally also, it also takes ages. Look at which community is very ahead of very ahead of all others to annihilate the caste. It is the Dalit community. But look at the situation of Dalit community. They all believe in the caste. They all believe in the caste and they want to annihilate the caste. Hypocrisy, total hypocrisy. And biggest enemy of the society is the hypocrites. Intellectual doesn't mean that he has to be a good person. Intellectual can be also hypocrite. So Ambedkar says that Brahmins are hypocrites. They say something, they do something. A Brahmin scientist knows that sun is a star. Earth is a planet. Still he believes that he should worship the sun. He should worship the earth. Why? Because it is told in the Shastras. So this is the reason Ambedkar left Hinduism and started and changed his religion to Buddhism. Now the question is that, sir, it means that do we need to strengthen the Buddhist society? No. If you want to strengthen your Buddhist society, you strengthen it as a religious society. But that's not the solution for the Dalits. Why? Because Brahmanism includes the religion. Brahmanism includes the social. So Brahmanism, that is actually the primary identity of caste, and caste supported by the religion. Religion is not the primary identity. Try to understand. That is the reason Brahmins did not make any religious identity throughout the history. The religious identity today, we are talking, that's a Hindu. That's not the identity given by the Brahmins. Brahmins wrote religious books, Vedas, all Shastras, Smritis, total Hindu religious books written by the Brahmins. But Hindu, the identity is not given by the Brahmins, because Brahmins never felt that there is a need of any religious identity. Why? Because Brahminism itself is a religion. Brahminism itself is a society, means the ideal society, the philosophy for the society. So Brahminism, Brahmin, this is the primary foundational identities within that Brahminism comes everything. Within that Brahminism comes religion. Within the Brahminism comes society, everything. So if you want to fight against the Brahminism, you have to create your own Dalitism. Brahminism is born from the Brahmin race, who want to hegemonize all the other races. Their own Aryan races also. Kshatriya and Vaishya, their own Aryan races. But even then, Brahmin want to hegemonize Kshatriya and Vaishya also. Shudra is a Dravidian race, and Brahmin want to hegemonize over. Brahmin want to be hegemonic force over Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and also Dravidian race, Shudra. A Brahmin also want to be, hegemonic force over Semitic race. Dalit, that is a Dalit race. So, my dear friends, what I'm trying to say that unless you create Dalit race based, identity based ism, ideology, you cannot defeat the Brahmin. See, I'm telling you, social idea has to be defeated by another social idea. If social idea is backed by any religion, then this another alternative social idea has to be backed by a religion. That's why Ambedkar adopted a Buddhism. Ambedkar understood that it is very impossible, it's highly impossible and very difficult. It's never going to happen to annihilate the caste within the Hindu society. It's better to come out of the Hindu society. He adopted Buddhism. It means that Buddhist society. But here, my observation, see, Ambedkar did all this methodology when Ambedkar was not knowing Indus Valley civilization. Try to understand this. Why Ambedkar historical foundation, historical thought, not started from the Indus Valley civilization? Because that time Indus Valley civilization evidences were not available to general scholars, the general thinkers. Those were specially known to only archaeologists who were observing the developments happening in the field of archaeology. Those days, I'm talking. So, when we talk about Ambedkar historical approach, we always have to remember that whether it is required to be applied in Indus Valley civilization details or not. So being a historian, I am trying to do that. So what I'm trying to say that Brahminism is the core of everything. That's the reason why Ambedkar said secular Brahmins. Sanatan Brahmins are similar. Because even if a secular Brahmin, even if he's a Marxist Brahmin, even if he's a scientific Brahmin who studied science, they all believe in their Shastras. You know Nambudripad, the great communist from Kerala, he found communism in Veda. So Nambudripad was a Brahmin from Kerala. So don't expect secular Brahmin or Sanatan Brahmins to bring, don't expect the secular Brahmins to bring, to fight against the Brahminism. No, They would fight only at the peripheral level. They don't go into the deep. They're never going to fight against their own Shastras. Politically, they will fight. That is the reason why communism is, Marxists were very much comfortable in India with the agenda of Muslims, Hindu-Muslim issues. They are very comfortable, but they are not at all comfortable with the Brahmin versus Dalit issues. No. Gandhi also same. Gandhi are not at all comfortable with Dalit versus Brahmin. No. RSS also same thing. There should not be any Dalit versus Brahmin. There should be, what is that? Samarastha. And Samarastha is owner and servant. There is a Samarastha. Owner and servant. Both of them have Samarastha. Samarastha means harmony. Harmony. But harmony, of course, if system has to function, there should be harmony. But the system is against, always going to keep me as a servant. Then why should I adopt harmony? I should fight against the one who is owning me, the one who is against me, one who is who is dominating me. So Samarastha is a concept RSS invented to keep Shudras as a lower, Dalits as untouchable forever, and Brahmin as a superior forever. That's why RSS never talk about the equality, Samata. No, it never talks. It's always talk about the Samarastha. So Ambedkar, so taking into account what Ambedkar said in section 22 of Annihilation of Caste, if I apply this to rebuilding, reconstructing Dalit society, then how we contextualize Ambedkar thought? Simple. We need to construct Dalit society. We need to construct Dalitism. Dalitism in opposite to Brahminism. Only Dalitism can be in opposition to Brahminism. And within the Dalitism, Buddhism will come. Within the Dalitism, all liberal, whatever liberal thinking, whatever progressive thinking, whatever progressive thought in the world exists, be it in a communism, be it Buddhism, communism, liberalism, democracy, Jesus thought, Nanak thought, Kabir thought, everything you have to look within the Dalit, within the Dalitism. Then only we can fight against the Brahminism. Why? Though it is said that Hindu society, I said Hindu identity is not made by Brahmin. It was Hindu identity was given by the Muslim. It's an Arabic word. Hindu is an Arabic word. It brought to India when Arabic merchants, traders came to India, they called the people of Sindh as a Hind, and it was having some negative meaning. For the period of time, it became an identity of religion. It is a Brahmin. It is a British people. Actually, Brahmin should thank to the British people. Why? British people made the Hindu identity as a religious identity. Today, RSS is doing Hindu politics, Hindu Rashtra, Hindu nation it wants to build. Actually, the Hindu, if you want to take Hindu identity as a religious identity, it is because of the British people who made it a religious identity. Even Muslims didn't make Hindu as a religious identity. It was called Hindustan. They used Hindu to the all people of India. It is the British people made Hindu as a religious identity. Why Brahmin never felt that to create an identity, a religious identity? Why? Because Brahminism itself is a religion. His ideology itself is a religion. He created books, lot of books, Veda, all Vedas, Brahmanas, Aranyakas, Upanishads, Puranas, Ramayana, epics, Ramayana, Mahabharata, and so many Puranas, hundreds of Puranas. But he never created a religious identity because it doesn't require. Religion means what? Then you have to convert the people. And you have to keep them in your own religion. If you want to keep them in your own religion, then you have to listen to them. You have to give them equal status. Like Buddhism is giving, Christianity is giving, Sikhism is giving. That's why they didn't start any religion. They start a social system supported by the religion. What religion? Brahmanism. Brahmanism itself is a socio-religious system. It's everything. It's encompassing. It's a socio-religious, cultural, economic, political, all the things. It's a system. It's a Brahmin system supported by with an ideology called Brahmanism. So if you want to fight against that system, you have to come out of that system first, not within that system. Why? Within that system, Brahmin is a natural leader. Because Brahmin is an intellectual class. Today, you see, when it happened, some thousands of years back it happened. Even today, Brahmin is an intellectual class. Even today. Even after 70 years of 80 years of independence, Brahmin is the strongest intellectual class in India. We can't deny this fact. So why it is happening? It is happening because we are trying to fight against the Brahminism, expecting the support from the Brahmin intellectual class. Why should Brahmin intellectual class fight against the Brahminism? They never fight. There may be one or two Brahmins. They may give the slogans against the Brahminism, but that has a limited impact. Brahminism can't be rooted out. So Ambedkar felt that since Brahmins are the natural leaders of the Brahminism, that's a Hindu society. Here Hindu don't take it as a religion society. Here not a Hindu as a religious society. It's another name of the Brahmin system. Look at like that. Because Brahmins never coined a term Hindu. Brahmins never made a Hindu as a religion, identity of religion. So Hindu, when you say Hindu, Hindu is not a religious society. It's an identity of a Brahmin system. Don't say it's a social system. It's a system. It is a social, religious, economics, political, everything. It's a system. System backed by ideology. So Ambedkar came out of that system because you have to become your own intellectual class. You have to create your own intellectual class to become natural leader. Unless you become natural leader of your own community, Dalit community, you can't become a natural leader. You have to become intellectual. Then only become natural leader of your Dalit society. So there are only two societies in India: Brahmin society, Dalit society. Those who believe in the Brahminism, they are in the Brahmin society and they fight against the Brahminism with the help of the Brahmin intellectual class. What happened? Impact of Brahminism will reduce, but totally they cannot they cannot cut the roots of the Brahminism. They cannot destroy the foundations of the Brahminism. Another society is a Dalit society, where Dalits also there. Those who believe that Dalitism can make India very stronger. It can make, see, these are all the only societies. If you make whole Indian society into Dalit society, then India will be very strong India. But today, whole Indian society is a Brahmin society, where only Brahmin is an intellectual class. Dalit society, not only Dalits, anybody can be intellectual class. But who has to take the lead? Dalits. So make a Dalit, become an intellectual class, then you will become a natural leader. So if you want to become a natural leader of a society, you need to become an intellectual. To become an intellectual, don't become a social scientist. become a social scientist. Because we are talking about the society. We are not talking about the natural sciences. We are not talking about the missions, physical sciences. We are not talking about the any science, any mission. We are talking about the society. So Brahminism is a system related to basically primarily a social system. Within the social system, you find religion, politics, academics, everything. So Brahminism is basically about the social system. Dalitism is also basically about the social system. If you want to become a natural leader of these systems, you have to become a intellectual. Within the Brahmin system, only Brahmins can be a intellectuals. Within the Dalit system, the primarily Dalits should be a intellectual. Dalit should be a natural leader. If Shudras want to make their own system, let them create their own Shudra society. Then Shudras will become natural leaders of their society when Shudras become the intellectual, like a Kanchalaya. Professor Kanchalaya trying to create Shudra society. That's why he said that I am a Shudra thinker. Who said? Kanchalaya. Kanchalaya greatly claimed that I am a shepherd community and I am a great social Shudra thinker. He never said that he is a Dalit thinker. He said he is a Shudra thinker. He is trying to reconstruct Shudra society. Let him cover. I want this, Dr. Kiran Adivasi. She should reconstruct the Adivasi society because she is the intellectual, social scientist. She should work for the rebuilding the Adivasi society. So what we have to do within these societies, we can work together. We can have a social alliances to fight against the Brahminism, to fight against the dominance, the hegemony of the Brahmin society. See, after all, in India consists of different societies. Dalit Adivasi society, Dalit society, Shudra society, then Brahmin society. Within the Brahmin society, Kshatriya and Vaishya part of it. Try to understand. Kshatriya and Vaishya have no other society. Within the Brahmin society, Kshatriya and Vaishya part of it. Because they're all together Aryans. In other words, Brahmin society is an Aryan society. To make it very clear, there is a Adivasi society. It's called Indo-African society. Indo-African society, Adivasi is there. Indo-Semitic society, Dalits is there. Dravidian society, Indo-Elamite society, Dravidian is there. That is a Shudra. Mongolian society is there. Indo-Mongolian society, that is in the northeast. Indo-Aryan society, where Brahmin, Kshatriya and Vaishya are there. These are all the societies. These are all based on races. Now, why should we have Brahminism as a dominant ideology? That question only Dalit society is asking. Shudra society happily, the Dravidian society happily accepted Brahminism. Though it is not Aryan, but it accepted Brahminism here. The Brahminism is basically a core of the Aryan, Indo-Aryan. So try to understand. If you want to understand it more broadly, it's a Aryanism. It's not a Brahmin. It's a Aryanism. Aryan gods, Aryan religion, Aryan literature. This is what Brahmin propagate. It's a more than that. I wrote a paper. I'm waiting for that paper. I sent to that. It's under peer review. So in that paper, I have discussed all these things. My dear friends, this is what about today's lecture. We need to create rebuilding Dalit society means we need to create intellectual class. Why? We need to create natural leaders. We need to create Dalit natural leaders. So if you want to create a Dalit natural leaders of Dalit community, who are the Dalit natural leaders? Politicians are not natural leaders. Politicians, no. Only intellectuals are natural leaders. Politicians are leaders made by the people. Bahanji Mayawati, she is a leader because people made her leader. Because she is a politician. Don't expect the politicians to bring a revolution in the society. No. Because politics is a 24 hours time. 24 hours work. They have to do politics. And a politician cannot always stand for the society, because primarily politicians work for the votes. Look at the Branji Mayawati. She wants the Brahmin votes. So directly she can't fight against the foundations of the Brahminism. No. Because she has to provide the space for the Brahmins. So don't expect the politician, with the due respect. I have a highest respects to Branji Mayawati. Whenever if I write the Dalit history about the current politicians, certainly Branji Mayawati is going to have a golden pages. She has contributed very greatly to the Dalit society. There is no doubt in it. But that's not the question I am talking here. What I am talking here, not only Branji Mayawati, even if you become a politician, you also cannot fight against the Brahminism at the root level. No, because you need their votes. As long as you want votes of different communities, you can't criticize even if they make a mistakes, even if they make a crimes. If you make, suppose for example, this Bahujan philosophy, you see, there are many OBCs, they commit crimes against the Dalits. But Bahujan leaders directly don't criticize the OBC leaders. Why? Because they want votes from the OBC. So politics, you need to have a majority people votes. Dalits are very minority. Brahmins also be a minority. That's why Brahmin never do the Brahmin politics. Brahmin always do the Hindu politics. Because Brahmin know that if he does a Brahmin politics, a Brahmin cannot even win Panchayati president. Brahmin cannot even become president of any Panchayat, any village. Because Brahmins are social minority. Same is the case with the Dalits, social minority. Same is the case with the Adivasi, social minority. That's why Brahmin never start his own party. If Brahmin is starting his own political party, Brahmin political party, he will not even win corporator or ward member. We are all social minorities. The only social majority is a Shudra race. But Shudra race divided into thousands of castes. That's why as a caste, they are also weak. But as a race, they are strong. That's why Shudra is never given a pride. Only Kanchayala says that you must pride. I am a proud of Shudra. Only Kanchayala says. What Brahmin says that all Shudras should be proud of Hindu. Hindu identity means all Shudra votes will go to Brahmin. So a minority become majority when your identity is a majority. What is the majority identity? Politically, Hindu. But the fact is, socially, all are minority, only Shudra is a majority. That is the reason some Shudra political parties are very successful, like a Mulayam Singh Yadav party, Samajwadi party, very successful. Why? Because they are majority. They don't require much votes from others. And Lalu Yadav party, RJD, very successful. They didn't do the Hindu politics. Mulayam Singh Yadav or Lalu Yadav never said that Hindu should vote. They always said that backward caste people should vote. They even went against the Dalits. Even then they won. So for Brahminism, the biggest danger is politically Shudraism. That's why Brahmins brought the Hindu identity to counter the Shudra politics. This Ram Mandir, Babri Masjid, Ram Mandir issue, they came when the Mandal Commission movement was very strong. To counter the Mandal Commission, what is the Mandal Commission? Shudra politics. Mandal Commission about reservation to the backward caste, Shudras. Mandal Commission is nothing to do with the, nowhere related to the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe. It's nowhere related to the Dalits and Adivasi. Though Dalit and Adivasis supported Mandal Commission, they led a movement. When I was in JNU, Mandal Commission movement was led by Dalits, not the backward caste. They were standing behind the backward caste, behind the Dalits. It was the Dalits who, Karshanam, Manwar Karshanam, who insisted the government, VP Singh government, to bring the Mandal Commission. It's because of the Dalit leadership, backward caste got the reservation. It was because of Ambedkar, who gave a provision in the Constitution of India. Because of that, backward caste got the reservations. So what I'm trying to say that as long as Hindu identity is there, very strong, then backward caste, Shudra politics will be very weak. As long as Shudra politics is strong, Dalit politics also very weak. That is the reason. As long as Shudra politics is weak, as long as Samajwadi party is strong, BSP cannot be a strong party. Because the core vote bank of the BSP is the Dalit. The core vote bank of the Samajwadi party is the backward caste, Shudras. And Shudras are majority. So to conclude the thing, forget about the politics. To conclude the thing, politicians work for political power, and political power a politician can get only by majority vote. So for any politician, he has to work for the more and more votes. As a process, he cannot fight against the every community. Look at the Bharatiya Janata Party. Ambedkar was deadly against the Hinduism, but Bharatiya Janata Party respects the Ambedkar. RSS, which is aiming to make India into a Hindu Rashtra, Hindu nation, but Ambedkar said that the most dangerous thing to India is Hindu Raj, the rule of, Hindu Rashtra. Even then RSS respects Ambedkar. Why? Because they have to do politics. If you want to politics, you need a Dalit vote. You need an Ambedkar vote. It's a vote bank politics. So politics is basically vote bank. Without vote bank politics, there is no politics anywhere. Without identity politics, there are no politics. Everywhere, anywhere. Vote bank politics is identity politics, and without vote bank politics, there are no politics. So that is a different thing. If you want to reconstruct a Dalit society, if you want to work for the future generations, you need to create your own intellectual class. That is why today we are happily sitting and talking, because we are middle class. Create more and more middle class to make a society very strong. To create more and more middle class, who will create? It's intellectual class. Middle class cannot lead. Within middle class, intellectual class is there. We are all middle class, we are all intellectual. Not all middle class is intellectual class, but intellectual class is a middle class. And intellectual class should not have a hypocrisy. So Karunyakara Institute of Dalit Knowledge aim is that to reconstruct the Dalit society, to create intellectual class within the Dalit community, so that Dalits will become a natural leaders of the Dalit society, and our future generation could be strong enough to fight against the Brahminism with the support of the Dalitism. So what I'm trying to do is that reconstructing Dalit society means I am reconstructing Dalitism, something called Dalitism, which says Dalits are not only equal to all, including Brahmins, Dalits are destined to intellectually lead the world. That's what I'm telling you. So I want to make Dalits as a natural leaders, means to make Dalits as neutral intellectuals. Thank you very much. Jai Bhim, Jai Bharat.
Thank you, sir, for completing today 22nd lecture of Annihilation of Caste and telling us how the Dalit society should be work and how the importance for the these section for the Dalit community. I really thank you, sir. Is there any questions for today's lecture related to the today's lecture? Please, if there is, please go ahead. Okay, I'm not able to see anyone is going to ask. So I request Shashikant Sambodhi to please give a vote of thanks for today's lecture.
Thank you. Now, with the permission of the chair, on behalf of the Karunyakara Institute of Dalit Knowledge, it is my immense pleasure to extend a heartfelt vote of thanks for this session. First and foremost, our deepest gratitude and warm regards goes to Professor Lella Karunyakara sir, a respected Dalit historian and a profound Ambedkar thinker. We are truly grateful to him for kindly chairing this session and delivering such a wonderful and thought-provoking lecture as the key speaker on the topic Annihilation of Caste, Section 22. Professor Karunyakara is a former Vice Chancellor of Mahatma Gandhi Antarashtriya Hindi Vidyalaya Wardha and a renowned expert on Ambedkar Dalit affairs and Dr. Ambedkar writings. His insights today have greatly enriched all of us. We also extend our sincere thanks to all the participants and attendees who joined us for the 61st online lecture in the KIDK lecture series. A special word of appreciation to our dedicated coordinators, Dr. Sukeshni, Dr. Darshana, Dr. Smita Bhagat, Mr. Akash, Mr. Shreyat, and Mr. Vijay for their tireless efforts and unwavering support in making this session a grand success. This lecture series, which began on last year on Ambedkar and 2025, continues to be a powerful platform for spreading Dalit knowledge, critical ideas, and new perspective in the field of Dalit studies. Thank you once again to everyone for your active and valuable participation. Before we conclude, please don't forget to subscribe to the Dalit Knowledge YouTube channel, where the recorded session will be uploaded shortly. Jai Bhim. The session is over, sir.